try to take it slower in the rain, even though I don't have to. Because, man, it's not because I have to slow down. I can run 100 miles an hour in this thing. Well, I can't because I got to turn down. If I want to turn it up a little more, I have complete control over my speed shut off and shit like that. Once you get going about 100 in this thing, it wants to start getting close to red line and blowing intercooler boots off and shit. But the problem is all the cars around me think that they can go as fast as I'm going. What they don't understand is I'm in a 5-ton truck. This truck weighs almost 5 tons. Weighs about 4.5 tons. A little over 4 tons, I think. I think it weighs I forget what it weighs. I know it's over. I think it's 8,300. So a little over 4 tons. Just like with a semi can cut. When it's pouring down rain, a semi can run 80 miles an hour. It doesn't have to worry about hydroplaning. If I had regular all-terrains on here or some street radials, I'd probably have to worry about hydroplaning. However, I got a set of MTs on here, and it's just not a concern. I've never hydroplaned this truck, and I've ran up and down the interstate at 100 miles an hour for thousands of miles. But all these little cars around me, they get the idea that they can do the same shit, and then they wind up hitting guardrails and stupid shit like that, hydroplaning. So I just try to cruise about 75 when it's raining. 75 all the way there through the 55s, through the 60s, whatever. It don't matter. 75, where we're at. Foodstamp Friday is among us. I don't think that they're going to. The problem is here's a big problem in this country. Is we get all up into our feelings. We have this belief system because it's been sold to us that if somebody is unfortunate, if somebody is disabled, if somebody, whatever the list of things is, that the rest of society is obligated. No, that government needs to steal from the productive in order to provide for those who cannot or will not provide for themselves. You have all these freedom people, freedom in air quotes, who sell this shit. One of them is, I watch Legally Armed America. I don't particularly like the dude. He does put out some good videos from time to time, but a lot of time I'm just like, what are you thinking? Have you not thought for 3 minutes about what the fuck you're saying before you say it? But, he's going to sponsor a family, and he has a list of not unreasonable demands to sponsor a family if, Foodstamp Friday comes and goes and nobody's food stamps gets filled, which I believe that they will. They'll come to some kind of agreement, or Trump will find some money somewhere to fill it. That way, everybody's happy and there's no riots. Although some people believe that that's what they're trying to start. No, they're not. No, they're not. But he in his video he talks about how he knows how there's people who are disabled that need them long term. No, fuck that. Where's those people's families at? That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to take care of your own. Government's not supposed to be used as a tool because it's got a bigger stick. And actually, it's not supposed to have a bigger stick. But it's not supposed to be used as a tool in order to force people into, people get up every day and go to work for their own. Government's not supposed to be used as a tool to force those people to then pay for, your son that you had, that you knowingly had, who was born with a, whatever, Down syndrome or whatever, can't take care of himself, or worst cases where they, had the mentality of a 3-year-old their entire life. And then, have government force me to pay for that child. Like, that's freedom? Where do you come up with this shit at? Like, how do you even sell that to yourself? And listen, I'm not the guy that doesn't want to help people. I help people more than I should. More than I should. And I'm not saying that, me saying that, I'm saying that as, you know, I've, you know, had arguments, you know, with my wife about me helping people on more than one occasion. And, you know, times she's been right, times that she's been wrong. But, you know, I just try to help whoever I want. But I choose to help those people. I don't have government stealing it from my check. Or trying to, anyway. You know, that's a belief that's been sold to our entire population. Believes if you work a 9 to 5, that government automatically takes money from your check. And the truth is that they do. To a certain degree. Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, there's just no way around it. You're going to pay it right now, every Friday. Whether you want it or not, whether you're going to use it or not, doesn't matter. You're going to pay it because they say so, and they got the bigger stick, and your place of employment has no balls. I mean, put exempt on that bit. Then if you want to pay at the end of the year, file at the end of the year and pay them. You get every dollar other than Social Security and Medicaid. But to think that government, that I somehow am obligated to pay for these other people, who I mean, you motherfuckers are arguing against each other. You're calling one side a domestic terrorist organization that's destroying the country, yet you're obligated to feed them. And it's not even that you're obligated; it's that you want government to beat you over the head with a stick and force you to feed them. Make that shit make sense. How is that anything related to freedom? It's completely antithetical to freedom. But you can't tell these people that. Why? Because it's been so long. It's been like this for so long that they just believe that's just how it's supposed to be. Like most other things. And it happened incrementally. You know, Great Depression era. Government's going to help people in need, right? Steal all the gold from everybody with the threat of force and violence. Then print notes. Then later come out with the welfare program. Not so long after that. Yeah, tough times are some bullshit. Pretty nasty. Yeah. And now, you know, 120 years later, 110 years later, 100 years later from welfare, you know, 120 years removed or 110 years removed from the Federal Reserve Act, people believe that you have some people that, like, you know, a lot of these people that get EBT and welfare or whatever it is, SNAP, they have no fucking clue. They think government has a safe somewhere, and every month they're taking out of that safe and sending them some money. They have no clue that government's using violence against you to get it. Not that they would give a fuck if they didn't know, because most of them wouldn't, because that's where we're at. It's just where we're at. How do you combat that? You don't. It's done. It's over. It's game over. It's game over for this country. It has been. It's been game over long before I was born. Past 20 years or so, though, with the technology of the data mining, the collection of data. There was a story the other day. So a guy gets pulled over because a flock camera hits that a passenger in his car has felony warrants. Think about what I just said. A flock camera, a quote-unquote license plate reader, that there's 40,000 of in 40 cities across the country. Oh, they're all down every interstate. Hit because a passenger in his vehicle had felony warrants. Think of the insanity of that shit. You now have cameras doing facial recognition while you're doing 70 miles an hour down the road. And it's taking snapshots of you running through a database and then letting the cops know if anybody it got a picture of has a warrant. And if it does, that's now a probable cause to pull you over. Because some third party, private company, flock, is violating our rights. Government's paying them to do so, but that's not violating our rights. Like listen, man, if you don't think that we're in a technocratic police state, hold up, because it's about to get worse. And we are. We already are. Everything you say on your phone, every picture you take, every word you text, every post you make, there's somebody that's going through some algorithm somewhere, some AI, and it's being stored. It's just being put in a little place so they can come back in a later date with a stack of the shit and say, oh, this guy is a domestic terrorist. And like the AI you see, I don't believe it's the like true AI. I believe they're far further ahead than that. I think the AI like Grok, the little bullshit you know, that I know, I don't use it. I refuse to fucking use AI. But I believe that is just what the real AI is learning from. And the problem with AI is that AI learns from you. It learns from those who use it. Well, if you have 100 people that speak about one thing, and all 100 of them give an incorrect answer, just as an example, then the AI also gives the incorrect answer because it learned what it knows from you. So what you really have is a system that's going to further dumb down society. When society starts counting on this quote-unquote smarter intelligence to make radical decisions, whether it be in our personal lives or our family lives or our county lives or city life, state life, country life. It's just more of the same, just at an exacerbated rate is what is going to happen. Well, one ain't afraid to get wet. He's chasing somebody, he's doing 120 in the rain. You go catch somebody that was doing 78. Watch out. Saving the world. Because if he pulls up on an accident and you're fucking dying, guess what? They're not going to help you. I know people act like they do. They don't. They're trained not to. Why? Because you can then sue them. Possibly. You know, they move you a certain way that you get paralyzed. You can blame it on them for moving you. And so if you're in a rollover, you're fucked. You get a crash, you're fucked. They're going to stand there and look at you. I've literally had it happen to me. Not from the state cops where I'm at, but from somewhere else. I got that real bad accident in 2016. The cops stood there and looked at me until the paramedics got there to cut me out of the car. Pulled a cigarette out of my mouth, threw it, tossed it. He did that, but he couldn't. He didn't, ask me if I was okay. He gave me any rags to get the blood off my face. Nothing. So don't act like that dude's running to save somebody, because I can fucking 100% assure you, he's not. He is not. But Foodstamp Friday. I mean, personally, what would I like to see happen? I would like to see it come and go and not be funded. That's what I would like to see. And then people realize, hey, we're either going to A, do the dumb thing, which is go rob. So I heard one lady say that she was going to go take people's carts as they were coming out of the store. And I'm like, well, you're a really dumb bitch, because that's strong arm robbery. That carries way more time than just walking in the store and loading the cart up. But hey, you do you, boo. And I hope you do that shit to me. Please come do that to me. Try it. There's a bunch of people talking about how they're just going to go in the store and load up carts, which if you were going to do it would be the smarter way to do it. Depending on what state you're in, keep it under 500, keep it under 1,000. And when you get caught, you're going to get caught now. Why? All the AI. All those little, you remember back during COVID when we started seeing those cameras. Christy and I used to film them. We're like, what the fuck are these cameras in all these parking lots? With the blue light flashing on top, they were on wheels. Those are flock cameras. Flock and Inflows. All the ones at Home Depot, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Costco. They're all owned by Flock. You're not getting away. Like and listen, they don't care if you commit the crime. It's not what it's about. It's not about catching criminals in the sense of they want to stop criminal acts. It's about catching criminals. And I know it's hard for people to see. You know? But once you go sit in a chow hall or prison and you're looking around you and all the inmates are running the chow hall, there's 2 contracted employees in there supervising 40 prisoners who are feeding everybody. And then you walk outside and look in the rec yard, there's 1 CO out there with, 5 dudes working the rec yard. Walk by the soap factory and there's 100 dudes in there making soap symbols. Bob Barker on. Actually, it was OPI, Ohio Prison Institute. I've told him about that scam before. All that shit's privately owned. Guaranteed contract, no big contracts. But once you've seen that shit, you're like, wait a second here. I mean, you go to it depends on what prison you go to. You're like in Ohio, you go to Lebanon. That's where most of the license plates are. I think that's where all the license plates are made at. They got a license plate factory there. Real shit. Some dude's making $28 a month, working 8-hour shifts, 6-hour shifts, making license plates. So that's what it's about. It's about making the prison industrial complex bigger, while doing so, profiting from that prison industrial complex, while doing so, scaring the rest of society into fear-based compliance. At the end of which is just the desire to completely control. There's a lot of people, man, who are at the edge. And when I say that, I don't mean like they're going to go out and do some crazy and hurt a bunch of people that don't deserve to be hurt. That's not what I mean. I mean, there's a lot of people that are at the edge, but they're at their breaking point with this shit. I got a buddy of mine that makes, I want to say he makes about $130,000 a year, and he brings home like 60 or 50, between 50 and 60, I think is what he said. Think about that. He went to college, got the job, did the work, learned the details, stuck with it, yet throughout his entire adult life has brought home less than half of what he earned. Why? Because the government's got a bigger stick than his. The government's got a bigger stick than he does. The sad thing is, we have the biggest stick. Just most people don't understand and realize it, nor would they use it if they did. But I hope Foodstamp Friday comes and goes, and those people do what they say. And not because I want stores robbed. A lot of them I just don't think will do it. I think most of them will quit getting their hair did, quit getting their nails did, quit popping out kids. There's one bitch so she can pass her values on to them. That's why we have 4 generations of it now, all on wealth stamps. That's real shit. Real shit. I had a dope boy one time, a guy used to buy a dope off of. He was on Section 8 housing and everything. Nothing wrong with him. Nothing wrong with this dude at all. Not a damn thing. I don't think he sells anymore. His name was Lowe. Lois was his name. Let's call him Lowe. I forget what his street name was. I never do the street name thing. I always got the actor there. If you don't trust me knowing your fucking name, then I probably don't need to do business with you. But hold on a second. I'm trying to get my speedometer at the right place. Anyway, he was on Section 8 housing. They paid for a 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment for him and his kids, him and his 2 girls. The dude made $1,800 a day. This was when he was selling at the street level. Profit, $1,800 a day, cash, non-tax, dope money. I think he got $800 or $900 a month in food stamps, he said. And like he didn't care. He's proud of it. You know, not proud of it, but like he didn't care to tell you. Yeah, that's what I get. It's what the government gives me. And at the time, I didn't know enough about it to try to like educate him. Not damn fuck. But that's the vast majority of recipients of food stamps and shit. It's similar scenarios. I mean, not all of them are making $1,800 a day off dope. Not all of them. But most of them can mark, listen, if we're going to play this game where we're going to take care of the disabled, then you better be disabled. You better be missing some fucking limbs. And even then, we can find some shit for you to do. All kinds of people missing legs still going to work. All kinds of people missing arms still going to work. It's a culture, though. Culture some are brought up in. I wasn't brought up in that culture. My dad worked. If we had the money and we didn't buy it, you know. And I'm not saying that sometimes people don't need help. But when they need help, if they're of value to the community in some way, the community will help them. But we've gotten so far away from that shit. You know, churches used to be the ones that would help families in need. Back before welfare. Not no more. Go to your local Catholic church and tell them you're starving to death. You got a kid on a starve, going to die malnutrition. And they'll tell you, well, you better go see the Baptist. They're about the only ones that still help people out, I think. Yeah, churches used to help. Not no more. Now they take that money because preacher man need a new Cadillac, Jesus said. Jesus said preacher man need a new mansion. That's where all that money goes now. Instead of being put back in the community and the church. That shit's just bullshit now. It's all been turned into just one big pile of steaming horse shit. That's why I don't buy any of it. But if you want to try to convince me in some way that you're pro-freedom, and then you're talking about how you know that disabled people need food stamps long-term, you're a fucking idiot, and you're never going to convince me of that. They may need help long-term, but again, my first question is where's the family? Where's the mom and dad that decide to have a child at? Where's the brother and sister? Aunts and uncles? Where are these people at? Because they're closer to being responsible than I am. So let them be responsible. Sorry, I can't read what you're saying, man. I'm driving down the road and my eyes won't focus. But anyway, have a good night. I guess we'll see what happens on Foodstamp Friday. My bet is that the the powers that be, after their, $170 a plate or more ribeye, 5-course meal, steak dinner, they will come to some agreement where they both put enough money in their pocket to figure out where to get the money to pay for food stamps, just like they did for the military last month. I mean, have you noticed the federal government? Have you noticed anything since they've been shut down? Like, anything different in your life? They're still taking that tax money out, ain't they? But has anything changed in your life? You're like, wait a second, this thing's not happening now. Other than shit that, they force you into. Like, the Social Security office might be closed or some shit. Like, you need a Social Security card. No, you're forced to have one. You're put in a position now where you're forced to. You can't travel without a driver's license. Why? Because you can't ride horses now. So now the only way you can travel is by railway, or and really a lot of places you can't even travel by rail. And then you got, you're breaking the law by hopping a train, or you're paying for a Pan Am ticket, or whatever the hell it's called. It's not Pan Am, it's something else. I mean, I would argue that since the highway system's now in place, and we can no longer ride horses state to state, that it's a public roadway, we pay for it. Whether you drive a car or not, if you buy gasoline for your damn lawnmower, you're paying for the roads. It's a public road. You don't need a license to walk your Nikes down the public sidewalk. So why do you need a license to drive your vehicle down a public road? But you can't tell some people that, man, because they're just too indoctrinated with what they know things to be. Total horseshit. Nothing you're going to do is going to convince them. Which is why I have recently, I haven't been yet, with that said. I just got it about a week ago, and hang on, it's Mom calling. Hang on. Sorry about that, that was Mama. But, I don't know, man. I personally think that, something's got to give. The dollar's crashing. The last trillion, we went from 38 to 39 trillion in 75 days. Guys, the days are only counting down, getting closer and closer. Every trillion is going to be a day or two closer. You know what I mean? The next trillion is going to be 73 days. The next trillion after that is going to be 70 days. The next trillion after that, 65 days. 60. What happens when it hits 0 days? Which means we're adding debt faster than we can pay it, which is already the case. Why? Because these fuckers that are put in these positions have the same belief that, Shaniqua does with her 8 fucking kids. This is why the only constitutional money is gold and silver. So what we see happening cannot happen. But at some point we're going to see a rapid inflation, which is coming very soon, followed up quickly by a rapid deflation, in the sense that everybody will realize that the dollar's worth nothing, therefore they'll be trying to get rid of all their dollars, trying to buy, land, homes, gold, silver, things of actual value. And when you see that happening, you better get your motherfucking cardio up. I don't think the transition from paper to digital is going to be as seamless as everybody believes. I don't believe that we are the first intelligent species on Earth. I don't buy into the scientist bullshit about how long humans have been here. I think that as humans, if you believe in God, you believe that God made man in His image. His image would be a perfect man. right? Perfect woman. And maybe we just keep destroying ourselves over and over and over again. And I bet it's for the same reason. I mean, if the truth be told, I mean, like, the pyramids didn't get built without some form of heavy machinery. I'm sorry, you're just not going to convince me of that shit. All around the world, around the same time frame, this pyramid just magically popped up. Sorry, not going to convince me of that shit. Especially that it didn't happen without some help of some machinery. I think we just keep wiping ourselves out, allowing the same thing to happen over and over again. Then the few that survive, you know, maybe repopulate Earth and have every country or continent, and then it just starts all over. I don't know. Who knows? All right, well, y'all be safe. I'll get off here and finish this drive. But Foodstamp Friday. Listen, you go out on Foodstamp Friday, and for some reason they don't give them their snack. They don't give them their EBT. You better be packing. Somebody try to take your motherfucking Thanksgiving turkey. You better let them have it. Let them know what's what. I see one black lady talking about how her kids ain't going out there Thanksgiving turkey. That shit ain't happening. Not a one fuck given about where that money really comes from.